So, Mafe, I have been talking to senior executives from consultancies across the globe in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I've talked to senior VPs, I've talked to CEOs, I've talked to other members of the C suite, other VPs. And these are consultancies who are selling their services to other companies. So let's just think about that. And here's what we're discovering. Oh, by the way, I also had the opportunity to review some of the proposals.
Right.
And what I've asked for, I do my 15-minute pro bono review of their proposals that you know that I often offer, and just say, give me 15 minutes with a proposal you lost, and I'll tell you why you likely lost. And what we're discovering is that they are making some pretty costly mistakes
Mm-hmm.
in the way they're proposing their work, at least in writing. So I want to tell you about the top 5 that I found. And by the way, all of these companies that I've been talking to are going to be working with us, because I was able to very quickly show them where the errors were, where the potential adjustments should be made, and they could see instantly. So I'm going to throw 5 of these at you, and
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your reaction. I'll tell you a little bit about my experience, then I'd like to hear yours. The number one thing I saw in just about every proposal that I reviewed is that the selling company's name was mentioned more than the potential client. I mean,
That's so
not
common.
not like a ratio of, we were mentioned 10 times and the client's name was mentioned 9. No. There was one proposal that I looked at that I only saw the potential client's name mentioned 3 times.
Wow.
And the selling company's name was mentioned 60 something times.
What?
So tell me what you think about that and why that's a problem.
Well, what we have seen is that when we are in the process of proposing, we all feel, because we are also consultants and we also do proposals, we all feel that we need to shine, right? We need to show our clients, oh my God, look at us, how good we are. And so we forget about our client. And when we talk with our consultant clients, when we're teaching them about how to do a winning proposal, we say to them, the proposal process is not about showing how good you are,
Right.
but helping your client understand that you understand them, that you understand their needs,
Yeah.
and that you are there to help them make the best decision.
Yeah.
So when you change the perspective to let me show you everything I have, to
Yeah.
let me show you how much I understand you, you
Yes.
change the way you speak, you change the way you write, because it's all about them now and not about you. And actually, Tish, it's so funny that you were saying this, because we both review each other's proposals,
Yeah.
and you were reviewing one proposal that I'm writing, and you gave me really great suggestions. And when I was reviewing the proposal today, I decided to change one headline, one key message of a
Yeah.
slide, because we started with, we are going to do
Yeah.
this for you.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, let me try to change it to,
Mhm.
this is what you will get by working
Yes.
with us.
Yeah.
And so,
And those subtle adjustments are what make the difference in terms of how it reads. Because there's a difference between presenting orally a proposal and when your client's going to read the
right.
proposal. Let me give you number 2. Let me give you number 2. So, number 2 that I found was they were educating their competition on methodology. That's what I call it. It means that in a proposal, we should be writing what we're going to be doing for the potential client. We should be describing exactly what is going to happen. What's the process? What are the steps involved? We should not be breaking it down to how we're going to do it and all the detailed steps, because there's two risks there. The first is if you explain everything to the client about your intellectual property, about your unique way of doing this, they can lift your proposal, hand it to an internal team if they have one available, and have them do it. So you've basically given away your entire how structure, what we would call the approach and methods in detail. You've given it away before they had a chance to invest in it with you. The second risk is if you have an unethical or an inexperienced potential client, they might lift your proposal and hand it to your competition.
Mhm.
It's happened to us in this way
Yeah.
before, and you know this. They didn't lift the other company's proposal and hand it to us, but they came to us and said, we were thinking about doing X and Y. Could you do that? And then we go, well, yeah, we can do that. And they'll say, well, we wanted it done exactly like this. And then suddenly these slides appear, right? And we know that the client did not do that. The client did not design that or structure it that way.
Right.
So there's risk there, right? There's huge risk. And quite frankly, our intellectual property, what we do with excellence, and I'm not saying I'm saying what you do, those of you who are watching, your intellectual property, your approach and your methods and the details about how you do those things, you should never put in a proposal. You should never give that away. You've
Right.
spent too many years, too much time, too much financial investment in figuring that out and getting that right so that you could propose it. You don't want to give it away. Why? Because it has value. Mafe, what do you think of number two?
Yeah, definitely. This is a huge mistake and a very common one. And then the other
Mhm.
thing that I feel has another potential problem is that when you dig so much into the methodology and how you're going to do things and exactly the activities that you're going to carry out, sometimes the client gets lost in the
Yeah.
details and forgets about why they're doing it and the value that you're bringing on those activities. So our proposal should always be communicating the why behind all of it, like why we suggest you do this, because this is the benefit,
Exactly.
right? So when we get into a very detailed methodology, some of our clients might lose interest because they don't want to know exactly all of the different details, but they want to know what they're going to get out of that methodology.
And I think you're exactly right. It's getting to the why. What, because I had another thing on my list of five. It's I've written down, we're not expressing in writing why we are recommending this. So
Exactly.
for example, out of the universe of all the approaches and methods in the world, why are we recommending that this particular approach is the right approach for you, given your situation, given this particular point in time, and given the objectives and the outcomes that you need to have happen?
Mhm.
That is what we need to show them. And I actually reviewed a proposal where I actually could not find the actual recommendation for what they were proposing. Nothing in the proposal said, we propose that. Nothing in the proposal said, we recommend that. Nothing in the proposal said, this is the best approach for you, because nothing in the proposal. I was flipping through the proposal trying to find what they were actually proposing, and there
Wow.
was nothing explicit in there that said it. And the thing is, that's common. And I think there are people listening to us talk about this and have this discussion that are probably thinking, no, I don't do that. My proposals don't look like that. I don't make those type of mistakes. And we're only on number three, right? You mentioned number three before I gave you the count on that one, that we don't express why we believe this is best for them.
Right.
It's not, it's if our way is always the best way, then we're probably not really thinking like the client.
Mm.
because you know that the solutions that we have at P31 aren't for everyone, right? And for those of you watching, the solutions you have aren't for everyone.
Mm.
But when you have a solution that is right, you need to put it in the context and put it and write it and express it in a way that the potential client can see it. So let's go to number 4. The bios are the same bio is used in every single proposal for the key people who are going to be working on the project. So it doesn't matter what they're bidding for, what the proposal is written for. The same bio slide is lifted and pasted in every single proposal. And the bios of the people who are going to work are great. They've done a lot of great and wonderful things. But when you use the same bio and you never ever tailor it, what's at risk there, Mafe?
Well, you were saying that, and I also remember that earlier last week we were also doing a proposal for a speaking event,
Yeah,
and one of our partners was reviewing the
yeah,
speaking event proposal, and he actually said that to me, like, I think you're missing in your bio the relationship of why you are the best speaker for this event. Like, you can say everything you have done in
yeah,
your life and all of your experience and all of it, but if your client or potential client doesn't understand how all of that experience translates into value for them, why you're bringing that experience into the room and how is it going to benefit them, they're going to say, like, oh, great experience, but
mhm,
I'm not relating to it. Like,
mhm,
I don't
mhm,
understand what's the benefit of bringing you to my company
mhm,
to work with me
mhm.
if I don't understand the like the link between everything you have done in your life to what the benefit is for me or for my
Yeah,
company.
yeah. What everything you've done in your life relative to this particular project, and what are
Right.
you bringing from those experiences to this particular project that's going to be so awesome, incredible, and impressive that it's good. I can clearly see how your involvement is going to help us be successful.
Right.
And,
And I also think another one, and is your bio is a way of helping people get to know you a little bit better. So sometimes what we also do in our bios is we put a little bit of our personal touch just to get that relationship and that bond with our clients. So for instance, if we know, like, we are all dynamic, we are very energized, we are like, we love to learn, we love a lot of things,
yeah,
but if we know that the client culture is a lot about learning, we will make more emphasis on that. Or
mhm,
if we know that our client loves or is it all into
yeah,
agile methodologies, we will put a little bit about that. Like,
yes,
we are very well known for our agile methodologies or
mhm,
for
mhm,
whatever it is. So they relate more to us.
yes.
They understand, oh, I'm going to work with these people and I'm going to get along very well, and things are going to be smooth because we have something in common as well. So a bio is a great opportunity for that as well.
And we miss that opportunity that you're talking about when we don't tailor it. We miss the opportunity. It's another way for us to speak to our potential clients. It's a subtle way of saying, I understand you. I get you. I've been listening to what's important to you. And I thought about what my whole team, if you're an individual independent consultant, it's yourself. But for corporations that we work with every day, you've got 5 bios in there. You're
Mhm.
indicating, I took the time to think about this team that I put together for you, or that we put together for you. And we thought about the skills and experiences they have relative to your project and how they would be beneficial. I'll tell you one of the things that I hear internally from people who are reviewing the proposals on our client, the client side, often say is they send in this group of people with all of these letters behind their names, and I have no idea why they're here. So the fact that you've got a PhD,
And probably they are thinking, oh my God, this is going to cost me a lot of money to have.
yes, they're seeing dollar signs. I wish we were doing a thing where I could put dollar signs up here. They are absolutely seeing dollar signs because they don't understand the relevance of what they just don't understand, like, why are they here?
Right.
Why are they sitting here? And one of the things I say when I'm coaching, and I know you've heard me teach this, is be careful who you send to sit in a room, either virtually or in person with a client. Because when we are on the consulting side and we send a room full of people to the client side, all the client sees is dollar signs above their head. They're looking around the room and they're adding up the cost of you being in the room because you brought so many people, even if you only bring 3 or 4. And like you said, if you bring 3 or 4 PhDs into a room for a potential marketing project, I'm going to wonder why. I am going to wonder why they're here and why it's costing me so much. And in reality, they may not be there because of their PhDs. They might be in the room because they have a lot of relevant experience and background to bring to the project. But the client, it's not the client's job to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
It is the job of the consultant and the team and the business development team, the people who are working with the client, to help them, like you said, make a good buying decision for themselves. It's their job to help them see that. So those are the 4 or 5. There actually was a 5th one, but we covered it. The 5th one was, and I want to make sure I mention it clearly for those who watch, is that the proposed solution is implied rather than explicitly stated. And we talked earlier that sometimes people just don't say, we propose this, we recommend this because of your situation. This is what we think you should do. Though people will tell me, well, it was in there. Yeah, it was. But for an objective reader and the reader who's looking for their answer, it's not there. So thank you for having this chat with me of the top 5 that we found. And I hope those of you who watch the video find this helpful and valuable, because it is important. I, like many of the people watching the video, when I first started doing proposals, didn't know to pay attention to these things, Mafe. I did not know how important and critical it was. And I didn't know that if I continued to write proposals in this way, I would lose more. But on the upside, if I stopped writing proposals in that way, and if I had more coaching, like you said, we send each other proposals and we make sure we get several sets of eyes on it. If I get more coaching, even from my colleagues, if I get more feedback on making those 5 adjustments, I'm going to put myself in a much better position to win. I'm going to be in a much better position.
That it's not a complicated process, but it is a structured process, and it is something that you need to be disciplined to do, because it's so easy to go back to the standard way of doing things and to just like knowing. I always say, you're so in love with your solution that it's so easy just to put in writing like how amazing you are without thinking about the client. So it's a matter of discipline, it's a matter of coaching, it's a matter of having a structured framework to do proposals. And I'm so impressed every time you tell me about, oh, I did this 15-minute call with this consultancy and they got it, and it was like amazing how much value they got out of those 15 minutes. Just because they changed a little bit about that, they have much more probability of winning something and winning big. So we are very passionate about this, and it helps. We use it. We have seen our clients use it with very a lot of success. So
yeah. Yes, and I will wrap it up with that. I hadn't thought about the 15 minutes that I offer. So if anybody is watching the video and you would like me to do a 15-minute review, so if you're a senior VP, a VP, someone in the C-suite, a senior person over who's responsible for overseeing business development or sales for your consultancy, and you would like me to take a look at your proposal and do a 15-minute sweep of it pro bono, I'm happy to do that. All you have to do is DM me, and I will contact you and we'll talk about how that works. I'll tell you what, the 15 minutes is worth it, because you're going to know in 15 minutes or less exactly what some of the glaring obvious suggestions, things that suggest about why you may have lost or
Yeah.
why you're not likely to win.
Win.
And those are the kind of things we want to look at. We want to correct. We want to fix right away. We want to get those. And most importantly, moving forward, we want to make sure all the people who are responsible for helping us to take our services, your services, to your clients are well equipped to do this with excellence and do this in a way that puts you in a position to win, not simply bid. So thanks, Mafe, for talking to me.
Thank you, Tish.
Thanks for your input.